Where's my script? I got it here somewhere. There's my script.
Script, what's that?
It's this thing that I
I'm gonna
do. I
bullshit
put
all
a lot of
this.
work on. I have scripts. Like, you're supposed to bullshit. I'm asking you a question, but I have to have a script. So I do my job properly. I care at my job. Now, while I'm breaking, I want to give you a little minute here. Just think about this. So, what was it that made you finally get into VR? Like, what made you pull the trigger on it?
The funniest shit would be an anime actually.
Please don't tell me SAO. Please, for the love of God, do not say SAO.
I'm sorry, but it was SAO that like it fed me the idea of being. It would be awesome if we could enter another world.
I'm about to like
Just from the
boogaloo.
comfort
I'm about
of
to
our own home.
boogaloo on your ass just for that, just because it's fucking SAO.
Well, too bad. I'm a fucking weeb. SAO was my first one of my first animes too.
Look, only the first 8 episodes were any good. The rest of them sucked. You can't change my mind.
That's the thing though. I watched SAO way before VR actually was even a thing.
No, see, we already had like HTC Vive and VR games and VRChat before SAO was a thing.
But not like.
It wasn't
to
really
this
good.
extent.
It wasn't any good though at the time.
Yeah. It's now when it starts to get better.
Yeah.
But SAO like gave me the idea to eventually get into VR. So when I got my new computer, I was like, "Fuck it! I wanted at least something."
Fair enough. We got sure shot.
So I first got VR in 2015, 2016. So that I wanted to be on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
So I got a HTC Vive back then, and I was just play normal shooter games and everything. Yeah, mostly shooter games and stuff. I didn't really get into like social game like VRChat until like 2018, way later.
So you want to be on the cutting edge, but like, what about that was like, I'm gonna buy VR, something that was really early stage where it basically was fuck all there.
Yeah, it was early adaptation, and then there was like the early competition where, I think at the time Oculus, Facebook, they cut the price of their Quest just so they can compete against the HTC Vive, and then Vive freaked out and also did the same thing. So it went from like $800 for the whole kit to like $500, and I'm like, oh my god! I bought it like a month or two before they did the price cut.
Oh, that one would have hurt.
Yeah.
There was a thing.
Well, as everyone knows, 2020 was the start of lockdown.
The great coup.
Couldn't go out anywhere. Yeah, it was a coup, I tell you. It's all a coup. No, I'm joking.
It said coup.
It was pretty bad.
So I said cough.
But no, we couldn't go anywhere, and we're stuck in our homes. It was that bad.
Yeah.
And you've got Discord. You can jump on random servers, talk to people in Discord, but that only gets so. You can go only so far. It still worked. I did that.
So you just got into VR entirely for VRChat and the social aspect.
Yeah, I know. That's ironic, right? Social platform. I actually got into it for the social aspect because I was getting stressed out with work.
Yeah.
I couldn't see my friends. We'd talk on Discord, but that was it. And it was at that point we were in, I think, level 2, we were just locked in our homes and we couldn't go out. And it was only for critical exercise, like, to keep our sanity. But then that's the reason why I joined it, was just because, 2020 was, the start of COVID in where I live. It was just full lockdown.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
No, it was very, very rough for a lot of people. But it's one thing. I know from doing podcasts where you try to do it over a Discord call or a Skype call, whichever platform you try to do it on, and you're kind of just guessing when they've stopped talking by speech patterns. Whereas at VR, you could see when they're stopping. It's like a lot of people, especially me, and I noticed that you're doing it here, is speaking with your hands. And so when you have that extra level, you can see when that person's going to stop talking by if their hands stop, and you hear like that half-second pause, and you can react to it, which makes it flows much more natural. Which is why I was just doing this interview in a VR chat rather than Discord.
Yeah.
Anyway, some bowling place that had
Something like
arcades
that,
and booze. That's what needs to be known here.
Yes. And there was a VR headset there, and you and I, we went on there, and the visual experience of it all made me I didn't realize how realistic it was, and then
Yeah.
as soon as I put it on and I saw how realistic it was, I realized, wow, this is amazing, and I wanted to experience it as much as I could.
So what made me get into fucking these like VR in general is I saw it and I'm always interested in technology and all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
Let me mute this while their music does. I don't want to hear Mariah Carey anymore.
Oh no, let me mute that too, because that's just like a copyright strike waiting to happen. Fuck. Mute the world.
But I got into VR because my cousin brought over his VR headset to us.
Yeah.
One day when we were down in Melbourne, and we all took part hooking it. We played Beat Saber, Gorn, all the basic games that were out at the time when the OG Vive was basically.
So that's like a 2016, 2017 was like 5 good games in the entire system. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like all the basic stuff like back then.
Yeah.
And then a couple months later, I dropped money onto a VR headset, and I started playing like Beat Saber, just most of the VR games that were out at the time, just experiencing it all and having fun. The one thing I didn't touch was VRChat. I didn't touch it at all.
Well, okay, that makes sense. But
and then literally one fateful day in September 2019, one of my other VR friends in like real life was like, "Hey Ziki, I'm bored. Do you want to come join me in VRC?" I'm like, "Oh, I could. I've never played it before, so you'll have to show me around and all that other type of stuff." So I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. We'll do that." And then pretty much I got in, experienced like that type of this type of format of VR gaming, social gaming, and literally by Christmas I dropped at least $3,000, like upgrading my PC, upgrading this and that, buying full body tracking, and just literally everything. I was just like, this is something that I like.
Yeah,
get involved in.
That is very much a thing I've seen with VRChat players. Like once they discover that they really like VR, like, they might play the games, think it's cool and such, but like VRChat in itself and like social games in general, that's when the real money gets dropped because they realize there's such a big potential in this and whatever thing they want to do, and that's where the money just starts going down the sink. It's like so in that case, like, what was your highlight of your first experience in VR? It's like, also, you used to have a really small avatar too, which didn't help with the whole perspective thing. Like, what was that really like your first notable VR experience?
So the highlight of it?
Yeah, like, it was like a really notable thing or a highlight of your first VR experience.
Well, because shortly after, because I was met up with you for the first time in VR, and I think most of the highlight was just realizing, well, desktop users, I know most of them do have it rough, but everyone's social even if you're a desktop user, but as soon as you jump in VR, it's like it's that whole different world. Yeah. And the highlight of it is just pretty much it is the social aspect of it. I mean, you've got the mirror dwellers, and everyone speaks different languages. People sign in here, American Sign Language, or the different sign languages as well. Oh, anyway, yeah. But no, the highlight for me has again pretty much just been that the acceptance and the social part. Look.
Right, so you want to start off in shooters. So I'm actually going to ask you 2 different things separately now, because first VR experience and first chat experience, because they're going to be 2 very different animals.
Okay. Yeah. So my first VR experience was for shooters, because that was the first games I got into, was playing Onward, just running around like a retard. Oops.
I say it all the time anyway. No, I'm super offensive on my channel. Like, for me, it's like, am I going to get banned or not? That's the line for me. Say whatever.
Okay, yeah. So I was just running around in Onward. I know it just played really well. Like, did stuff like riot shields and knives.
Yeah.
They just run up to people like, I'm gonna stab you, I'm gonna stab you, I'm gonna stab you. Or just run around, did the riot shield grenade tactics, so you load nothing but grenades, and then you would run up to people, put the riot shield away, pull the pin, have the riot shield run around the corner, trap him in a corner, drop the grenade. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Like, the way you do that with riot shield in the game is fucking hilarious. So the next one
Yeah,
comes.
it was pretty broken.
Yeah, like I've seen Onward. The whole one of the things I wanted to do it for was literally just the whole going dark with the boys and laser sights, and I ain't just not want to glitch, but because Onward is literally like the only tactical shooter right now. It's multiplayer, and it's got a lot of tryhards. So it's the only downfall. I need to get around to playing that. So then it comes to first VR chat experience because it would have been a couple of years later. A lot of things would have changed. This game is kind of a clusterfuck.
First VR chat experience. So the funny thing was the thing that got me back into VR and using and playing VR chat on the regular instead of like that one-off moment in like 2015 or when VR chat first was getting popularized.
Yeah.
Was I was actually a fan of Project Melody, and then a thing that they did for their Patreons was that
Yeah.
if you're a certain Patreon tier, you got to you did a like kind of meet and greet with Project Melody and spend like an hour or two with them in a VR chat world through VRChat meetups. And I think I was in like 2018 or 19 that I did that, and it was really fun. And that made me stick around and use VRChat from use VR from none at all to like once or twice a week, and from then on there I went for like 3 times a week, 4 times a week to basically every day. Every day I touch VRChat.
I think.
And from every day to like I spend like 4 or 6 hours in VRChat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand that one. Goddamn, like last year I spent so much time in VRChat. It was like, because I just left from Tarkov 2, so I was like, that much time in Tarkov to that much time in VR. But yeah, I think Project Miller is 2019, and there's a few creators that do that where they have the whole VRChat meetup, which I think is a really interesting way, because it's like going to an expo at that point. It's a really good way to interact with fans. That's something that VRChat does well, actually just VR in general, because you can gesture, or in your case, you have full body you could show off.
I guess it would immediately be when I booted into VRChat. That's when I met a few of my first friends in VR.
Yeah.
And from there, I just started hanging out with them a lot, which led to eventually you guys as well.
Yeah.
I just been stuck with them now.
So I know my other my jank.
They somehow managed to make me laugh with just switching into a low poly cronk.
that is VR.
That's how shit my humor is with them. It's still your turn, fuckface.
But anyway, so what was your first experience like with VR? And that when you borrowed your friend brought his VR around, did you play those games? What was your experience there like?
My experience was, I was basically taken aback on how smooth it actually was. I was expecting to be, jittery, not really smooth, not track real well, but it was like the best thing. But I was just amazed at like how smooth, like your hand tracking is, how accurate it all was in terms of like how things were. And it was just like I was just taken aback by it. Like I'm like really amazed. So like it's worth the money for like something like this.
Yeah.
Like if I knew it was like if it's like say like going from like high end PC back to like an NES type system in terms of like graphics and like its like workability, it was far ahead of what I thought it was.
Yeah. But yeah, so the next part of that question is like, what was your first experience in VR chat like? Because gaming compared to social VR is kind of 2 different experiences. So what was that experience in VR chat like?
My first experience in VR chat was at the start very daunting. It was pretty weird for me. It's like just seeing people move around and communicate. It was something that I'm not used to, or wasn't expecting. Anyway, I did join on VRChat in desktop like a couple of years prior when it first came out, and I didn't enjoy it at all back then. At all.
I can understand that back then.
And then since I had the VR, I went in with a friend who had a bit of experience with the game. Not a whole lot, but knew bits and pieces and how things worked and whatever else. And showed me around, and I made friends within the first couple of days, and then that went to a group, and then from there it just continued growing basically, and just experiencing new things like new worlds, new environments. It was just like very immersive. Like it was entertaining and just like there's something new every day.
Yeah,
Not like you play Call of Duty where it's the same old. Like people are different strategies every day, but it's very repetitive.
yeah,
Whereas VRC, like there's new people coming through, there's new bits and pieces, new worlds, new technology, new this, that. So it's always evolving.
yeah. And especially once you get to the communities, because you have things like the whole DJ communities, set up roleplay groups, obviously dancers like yourself, and the whole club's built around that. Like there is so much there. It's kind of why middle of COVID, I bought a Rift S, the cheapest headset I could get, and like every night I was like somehow stumbling across something new and different. Like I was really drunk and stumbled across this, and that's how I met you. And I saw the funniest moment of my life was you're up on stage, and I'm drunk. I was like, that is 100% a dude. It's the rules of the internet, man. And then there's one guy who's just like really, really into it. Andrew, come down at the end of your dance. You just like lean down from your pole, and the most Australian accent I've ever heard. You just go, "Did that do it for you?" Just the absolute shock and regret. It was like, oh, this is fucking golden.
And everyone, like when I do that, everyone reacts like differently to it as well. And
Yeah.
it's like that's the amusing part of it. Like it's got to be a guy because that's the rules. They don't talk. They don't use. It's got to be a guy. But their movements say otherwise, though. It's like their brain's like, but it's a girl. They're moving like a girl, but the rule says it's a guy. How do I deal with this? And like they just can't. They're just like, well, if they don't talk, I can just imagine them as a girl and an okay. And then once you've done like you dance, whatever, you unmute and then you say a few words, and it's like, really? That just happened? And then the other's like, no, you just break my immersion. Why would you do such a thing? And then just run off.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's like it's very. There are plenty of people who will learn how to intentionally learn how to move like a woman just to fuck with people. It's like, dude, you guys haven't been on the internet long enough. Like, you haven't obviously been trapped by someone giving you an image or someone showing you a dance on TikTok. Now you see on YouTube too. It's like, yeah, no, there's a reason that first rule of the internet is if they do not talk, they are a dude. What does VR bring that normal gaming doesn't? And one of those things is things like full body where you can gesture and move around a lot more, and that interactivity.
Yeah, like so, like normal gaming. For me, VRChat brings a different level of like social immersion. You know, like you just hang around, chill with your friends, cuddle, just like watch movies, do whatever in VRChat. Right? You meet so many people that you can just be constantly occupied with different people every hour of the day if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the level of immersion. You know, like I can see my legs, my feet, my knees, my elbows because I have like 10-point tracking. I don't know. It's just it's really honestly. I don't know. Like I don't know why I stick in VR. Maybe it's just now that I've met so many people, I just stay in VR.
Yeah.
Ooh, tracking is dying.
One of my favorite jokes in real life and in VR. Like, go remember, the best way to play pool is you remember to just stroke off the guy behind you to get that perfect hit. But you can't do that on desktop because the game is just a stick moving in thin air. It's not you actually interacting with it.
Yeah, so like with that, it's like VRChat. Even if you're half body, just having your upper body, your head, and your hands, it's like it's basically a couple steps away from, them physically being there. It's kind of like telepresence, the conference calls and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's VR. They have an avatar in the place of like a flat video feed of them talking to you on Skype or Zoom or something like that. You know. So it's like it's a different level of immersion because when you make certain friends, when you look at the friend or think of that friend, you think of that avatar and you think of that person and how they act on top of that avatar.
Okay, what does VR bring to gaming that just standard gaming doesn't?
Whoa. I would say this is what I would think.
Yeah.
Is with video games these days, they're quite competitive. They're quite They're quite lonely, I would say. In a way.
Okay. Yeah.
They're very by yourself, to yourself sort of thing. But then if you look at, for example, the Wii.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, I would go over a mate's place and I would play the Wii and, tennis, 10-pin bowling.
The rest of it.
You'd
Yeah.
laugh, you'd have fun, you compete against each other.
It's like very involved
you
with
talk
each
to
other.
other
Yeah.
people. It's very involved with other people. And I feel like that's what VR brings that gaming doesn't these days.
Yeah. That's an interesting take. Okay. What is it that VR brings to gaming that nothing else does? Like trying to play on desktop just does not compute. Doesn't even match it.
I feel like it brings more interaction.
Yeah.
Look, I have a thing that I use with my hands when talking. That's kind of like the extra step that it adds to it.
The Italian in you coming out. Mamma mia!
No, it's not even
I'm gonna
Italian.
beat
It's
your
Spanish.
ass!
I'm gonna beat your ass.
It's like
Puedo
that,
matarte con esto.
like that's what Homestead thing. Like just sit here talking shit, wave around a fucking pool stick. Like, oh, come on, you know what's going on tonight. there's nothing else that beats that. You can't do that when you're just playing a desktop.
Yeah, in desktop you're just like this.
Yeah, it's like, "Meh." I point stick at you. Like this, at least I'm like just wave it around.
But yeah, it just adds another way of interacting. Cause look at the people that are like mutes. They use sign language, and we've actually developed something.
Yeah, it's a VR,
For VR
what's that?
to
VR
actually-
ASL, I think it's called memory.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
so
actually
yeah.
developed something for them.
Yeah. Well, like, mutes are a really interesting phenomenon that I plan on covering at some point too. Just because like, it's something that's really only unique to VR. Because like they sure they exist in like text chat and other games, but it's not really the same thing.
We won't get involved into that real much, hey?
Yeah, so, we'll divert that into the smoothest segue I've ever done. So what does what does VR bring to gaming? Like in this case, we're going to do gaming and socializing that just normal desktop gaming doesn't. Because as we're just touching on here with the ASL, that's one thing that VR brings that normal
Well-
gaming doesn't.
Yeah, it does. You feel more immersed in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Especially like you're doing like your escape room or whatever else. Like you feel like you're actually there instead of just like behind a screen, talking to your friends. You can interact with your friends. You can you say points and like point at something.
Yeah.
No, it's this way. You got to do it this way. And it's more interactive in that top sense, and it's more fulfilling in a way that you can actually like be with someone as well.
Yeah.
Like picture wise, like you feel that you're closer to someone than like you're just behind a screen. You're like you're being thrown into like this immersion.
Yeah. So, and say
it's
from
just what it is.
like playing pool, right? So that's a really common thing now. They have a new update for the pool tables everywhere. It feels far more personal. Like you actually, when you go to the pub and you play pool and have a beer with a couple of friends, a lot of that very personal feeling is still there in VR, which I think is awesome because when you have a lockdown because of the
it's
coup,
like that.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, if you have lockdowns, like because of COVID, like VRChat became real popular because people that couldn't go out to clubs, couldn't go out to restaurants, or out to entertainment venues, like do the same stuff in VRC.
Yeah, and it really did make it
Basically, so they can
explode.
get to the world and play pool with their friends and drink with friends and just go out and socialize, basically.
Yeah.
In an alternative reality, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could say it's a virtual reality. But yeah, no, that was a big part of it because like I have a lot of friends that are in different countries, and you can still have that sort of personal experience of being around them if you're in VR rather than just through Discord or through playing Call of Duty, which I still do anyway. But
Messenger or
yeah,
it's just another way of like being like you can see their body language, you can see their movements, you can see all that type of stuff, which means you can like close to them. Your friendships will get a bit closer just because you're interacting with each other in a new format, in a new way.
yeah,
That's different than what just through text or through on-screen stuff.
yeah. It's like, and the thing is, body language is far more accurate than people realize. Like I have one friend who could tell just by the way my head was tilted that I was thinking about something that was bothering me, because they learnt my body language well enough to be able to do that. And so even though it's VR and it's limited, the upper body, there's still plenty that can really be shown there, and that's without full body, which takes another step further.
Yeah, like just like your head movements, like your hand movements, like all that is body language, and like how you move. Like if you're friends with someone for long enough, you can see the little ticks of like how they act and how they move because that's their personality. So like the head tilting to the side on someone when you ask them questions, like I don't understand what you're trying to say, type of thing. Like it's just that tick, like huh. And they don't even have to say it; they just have to tilt their heads like they didn't understand what it said. So
which is
repeat question.
Which is really good when there's a language barrier. Someone knows very little English because maybe they learned in their country or they just haven't practiced it in a long time. That body language can help you go, oh, I need to simplify this maybe, or say it a bit more clearly.
Yeah.
You'll encounter that a lot in VRChat. It's definitely a big thing. Going to ask both because it's sort of one. Because I have a feeling you have a similar answer for both. But what does VR itself bring to gaming that nothing else does? Like, what does VR bring that a normal desktop screen just can't?
I think it's the whole immersion. I think.
Yeah.
Like the fact you could it allows you to sort of shut off more than what you can. Like if you're playing like a first-person shooter, right, or just a standard keyboard and mouse game or console. If you're playing your favorite game, you're gonna focus on it. You're gonna jump in. If you're winning, great. If you're losing, well, that sucks. But you're still immersed in the game.
Yeah.
And you're just sort of like you're forgetting what's happening around you. Even if you've had a bad day, for example, you're just sort of like you forget about it because you're doing something that you like. I feel like it's the same with VR, but because you've got the headset on and you're seeing the world around you, you're looking around. I feel like it creates a lot more. It sort of locks you into that world, and you can sort of escape reality for a brief moment and just focus on what's happening in the game. With your friends and talking with people. And there's some crazy worlds here too, where you can ride a roller coaster and you can just play games, Uno. Almost anything you could do in real life, there's a world for it. Someone's made it.
It's really gotten
you can
there.
Drive a car.
Like when it comes to VRChat, it's like there's jets, there's car worlds. There's people have like recreated games to the PS2 era. You can play Doom. There's first-person shooters.
Absolutely.
There's like
Doom,
tower defense games. It's so much in VRChat. It's fucking mental. So like one of the things I'll add is also like when you interact with the world, it's you interacting with the world. Like it's you picking something up, or you, because I play a lot of shooters, actuating the slide, or you're throwing that item to do the thing. Or you're placing it down yourself. It's not just a random button that does it for you automatically, which adds to that level of immersion. Especially if you're playing like a horror game.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You gotta stuff your arm into someone's gut. That's probably a thing. I don't know, but
there we go.
Because I know like Evil Within,
sure
you have to like pull like a key out of someone's guts, and like Evil Within 2. I wonder if there's a VR mod for that yet. It's probably like the VR modding community is awesome.
Probably.
What's your favorite part of VR?
Anyway, back to the interview.
Yeah.
Mind a little technical difficulty there.
This is just VRChat in a nutshell. Technical difficulties in every level.
But I think VR as a whole, immersion and social. That's probably my two key ones. Yeah. And just you can meet someone just across the world and just like interact with them. And I like learning things about people. I like to sort of branch out. Even though I do sort of have a bit of anxiety and stuff like that, it allows me to force myself to get better. At socializing. Yeah, which there are some people who struggle with it. Some worse than others. But a platform like this does help. It's more terrifying, but it does help. Trust me.
But on that topic, you'll know more about this than I do. But mutes in ASL, because it really helps them get over their anxiety because they don't have to talk.
Yeah, but in this game there are selective mutes, so people who do choose to be mute, and it's either by them like nervous or don't want to talk, aren't exactly comfortable with their voice, or they just outright don't want to talk in VR, which is completely fine. And then there are people who are actually medically mute in real life, and they can jump in this game and still communicate and hang out with everyone. Look, you don't really have to talk.
No,
You can,
not at all.
there's multiple different ways to communicate. It's through body language because you can still achieve that, even just with half body, like just 3-point tracking. You can still see what I'm doing with my hands. You can still express yourself, and avatars have facial expressions, and you can sort of learn the gestures to, express your feelings. I guess.
Yeah.
Or if you're extremely mad, or if you're just like, "How you going?"
Yeah, I think it's on Smile. This
it
is.
Yeah, that's a decent smile. Yeah. But things like that for all different kinds of people and mutes. Like just going back to the that scenario when you at that comedy routine and people coming up on the stage.
Yeah.
It does help because you go up there and you're just sort of looking around. You're like, oh, okay, it's exactly like I was doing a comedy skit in real life.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at me.
It feels like you're pretty much just talking at a pub kind of difference.
Yeah.
Like you're, especially in VR, it's like it just feels like you're just walking into the bar and talking or stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you go into the right world.
Like 100%. I actually
like the pub and the black cat.
Actually, so one of the things I brought up in my video here is like I actually was in a black cat lobby once where we basically had. I forget how. I feel like me and like 2 other people started telling jokes on stage. Like taking turns go over to the stage telling a joke coming down, and we ended up getting like a 10-person line, like a whole crowd just watching it. It's one of those really interesting things in VR chat. It just doesn't happen anywhere else. What's your favorite part of VR?
I see. You trapped me in this corner. Excellent work.
It's not much of a trap. But I can get you a trap if you want.
I would say the idea that you can move outside without actually moving outside.
Yeah.
For example, especially these days with COVID-19, you can't really go out, you can't really travel, can't really do much.
Yeah.
Whereas
Especially
in
in
VR,
Southern Australia,
you
yeah.
can do those things. Exactly. You're not really locked down. You're free to be where you want to be. Or
Yeah, like
wherever
we
you
were
wanna be.
like playing pool
I'm
the
at
other
my
night.
house as Goku right now.
Yeah.
Like this is crazy.
I
I
think
got Mr. Roshi over there just chilling.
like social connection that people are, because like you let's say you have like a really good conversation with someone, right? There's that sort of like connection feeling you get where like you're really into that conversation. How would you say that computes over to VR since we're on this topic?
I would say it's probably more. It would happen more often. I would say because you don't have to pretend to be who you are.
Yeah.
In the real world, you kind of have to. You have to live up to a certain stigma. You have to be a certain person.
Yeah.
Whereas in VR, you can really show who you are without really fear of being ostracized.
Yeah.
By society. You can say what you want. You can really be an individual, and you can express that to each other, and without fear. Whereas in the real world, I'd say, especially nowadays with social media.
Oh god, yeah, like it's
Facebook,
posted
Instagram,
everywhere.
Everything's everywhere. Whereas VR gives you a sort of outlet to be private.
Yeah.
Without being private.
Well, it's like being on the old internet, where it's like you didn't really have an account linked to your real life. It was just like you'd show up and do dumb things, and no one really cared. So yeah, I definitely see that. It's very much that because you're still anonymous, you can really do a lot of things. Feel free to be who you are without the consequences. Like one thing I just talked about in my newest video.
Like Club Penguin days.
Oh. God, I haven't thought about Club Penguin in years. You know, they shut down the servers. All right. As I was saying in my recent video, like employers now check your Facebook. It's like before they hire you, they will check your social media and Facebook, which I think's wrong, invasion of privacy. But it's like, but people post of you outside now affects whether or not you get a job. It's not like, oh, my friend saw me do this dumb shit. It's fine. Employers can now go, oh, he threw his heart up because he drinks too much now, or you know, he's into some niche hobby we don't like. So, yeah, it's very much one of those things where it has that benefit.
Exactly, you have to hide yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and that can't be good for yourself.
It really isn't for you, like your self-worth. It's really bad. Right, so here we go. Right. What's your favorite part of VR? Which I think we probably covered that already by accident, but it's a trick.
We went from gaming to just social experience. Yeah, that's it. Just social experience, especially with the whole pandemic in 2020 happening. Was it 2020, 2019 when it happened? I think it was 2020.
It
Whatever.
was 2020. It was March 2020, as I call it, the Great Coof Conspiracy. Uh,
Yeah. When that happened, people were inside, so there was a huge spike in VRChat of users coming on, Quest users, PC VR users, where people, the VR community is getting bigger, and then VR in general is getting spotlight because of everyone's at home.
Yeah, and it's just a really good way to interact with
and
people.
stuff.
Like, I talk about this briefly in this video itself, where like I miss going to the pub with my friends because I used to have a beer and play pool, and now in VRChat I can. And I can do it with people thousands of miles away in another country who I just like hanging out with, and it still feels very close to it.
Yeah.
But I also think that there's even rave clubs and all sorts of underground movements in VRChat, which are really awesome, which is why I'm making this series, so I can explore them, because
cool.
there is so much going on in VR, especially due to the pandemic, that just I want to explore that and show it to people who don't know about it. Like, I discovered the rave clubs by watching a video on YouTube on someone else who discovered the rave clubs during the pandemic. Back on topic, because we're in the weeds now. What's your favorite part of VR?
Yep. Favorite part? Being able to socially interact with others. That would be my number one part of it. Like, it's way more funner, way more immersive. Again, we're just like covering the same like words and whatever else, but that's what it is. It's pretty much, it's just what it is. It's way different to your normal style gaming because you're more immersed in it yourself, so you feel, like you're that character more.
Yeah.
Because that's all you see. You see your hands, and then you go in the VRC mirror dwellers because you're looking at yourself.
Like, I personally never had that mirror dweller moment where I was looking in the mirror like, oh my god, I'm so pretty. But my friend, like his first day in VR, he's just like entranced by the fact he was in another body and just like stared at the mirror for a good solid 10 minutes. I was like,
in the mirror, and then that habit, like, it's ingrained, and that's all you go to because you just want to see yourself in another body. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's what comes to your head. Like, you're looking, it's like, oh, I look sexy, and that really softens, and other bits and pieces, and, you get hooked on it.
Well, I'll take your word for it, because I never got that experience to me. Because at least when I first started, the whole thing about the avatar to me was like, this is a tool. Whether it's like this has the features that I like, or it's funny, or in some cases like this is good for a roleplay situation. Because I have a moment, God, I think it's still on my channel. But basically, I was just a World War II medic, and that had just come up out of the blue and caused a few roleplay moments where you encounter someone going through some sort of stupid medical emergency. Which, by the way, if you encounter the LPD or the what do they call their medical team? Anyway, yeah, they're probably gonna give you a prostate exam. It's a thing. They keep doing it. Like, they really want to make sure that prostate is nice and healthy. The next part is like, how would you describe VR to someone who has never touched it? Because this has been the thing I've been struggling the most with in this entire fucking essay.
Okay, I think VR, how to describe VR to someone who's never touched VR is like, it's a leap in immersion. It's like going from using I'm trying to a really good analogy, or it's not in that context of like, one's better than the other. It's just an upgrade. It's an upgrade in terms of gaming, social experience, and immersion. You can play other games outside of VRChat. Those shooters, those horror experiences, where you're less reliant on like a keyboard and a mouse, and it's more you in the experience. Like you're shoved into this little experience, this little world that they make in games. Like, Onward, you're shoved into a shooter. VRChat, you're just a person chilling in some chaotic, hectic world. And then like those horror games where you're shoved into a pitch black void and getting stuff thrown at you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, I don't know,
God.
like it's like you're really there.
Yeah. So like VR, when it comes to like playing games, it's kind of like going from 2.5D games to traditional 3D games, like Doom to an actual 3D
Oh,
game.
that's a lot. That's so much better than me. It's going from like a side scroller to like a 2.5D game to like a 3D game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because like Doom
Even
technically
past
was
that.
3D, but in reality it was actually still a 2D game. Just the way it was animated made it look 3D, which is called 2.5D. And then you have actual 3D where you go like Call of Duty. But when I think it was like a gaming technology, I think of it more as like a sidestep. Because you know how you have like Xbox, a dedicated console that does a whole bunch of things, and you have like a DS where it's something that's just transportable and you can play simpler games, but in a different way when like you're traveling or on the move. That's sort of what VR is to me. Like it's not going to be the super hyper focused like a Doom Eternal or something, but there's still be so much different experiences that you can do only in VR. That's how I think of the technology itself
Yeah,
to
yeah.
gaming.
A side grade, not an
Yeah.
upgrade.
Because a lot of the hype, which I think is what killed it early on, was this is the future of gaming.
That's the thing. I don't know because so much shit can happen that it's like. The best way to put it in is like putting a pair of goggles on your face and taking LSD or something with it. Because if you think about it, if you don't take anything and just go straight into a public world, a full public world, it still feels like the same fucking shit just happened.
But yeah, like recommending this like VR to people that have never done it. It's one like convincing him to actually put the headset on and sit down and spend time in it is like for me personally wise has been the most hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Like to them, it's they think it's just weird and like not gonna be great and all that type of nonsense. But once you chuck the headset onto them and you run them through some of like the basic entry stuff, like your roller coasters, your drop falls, and
Yeah.
the plank, like stuff like that, and there's like this is too fucking real, and they freak fuck out.
Yes, there's plenty of clips of that too, where you see like running into a TV because they're trying to get away from some sort of monster.
Yeah.
Or literally like trying to jump off the plate and
Yeah.
just hit their floor. Yeah.
Like stuff like that, like it does freak you out, like, and like I didn't expect that to happen, like looking down, like it looks scary, like you don't want to fall, and then when you do, it freaks out all your senses, and then you're like,
Yeah.
you don't know what to do.
So you probably had the same thing, Alex. I remember when I first fell off a world in VRChat, like that feeling of like your gut coming up, like coming down a roller coaster, just because your body's expecting
Yeah.
that falling feeling, it's
Yeah.
not there. But yeah, because your body responds to
Yeah.
it a lot, and it takes a long time for that to go away.
Like
Like, any notable experiences you've had?
Oh, I would say when we were playing Pavlov,
Yeah.
and I put out a double barrel shotgun, and I blew your brains out in front of me.
Yeah.
The feeling, the sight, the sound, the way it all came apart, it was like I was playing an arcade game
Yeah.
with you, but I was in the arcade.
Oh.
It was that.
Like,
It was that realistic. It was that fun.
Time Crisis. Remember how they had put like the laser guns and you had to shoot at the screen of the arcade? It's like,
Amazing game.
if I could own one, I would have one.
So
Like, they're
good.
so simple, but I love it so much. Okay, I kind of really want.
And it's that feeling, but you're in there and your gun's in your hand.
Yeah,
and
and
you're-
instead of like the screen,
the
it's
guys over
everywhere.
there and exactly, like you're looking around, like you're in your room looking around, but your room is now Kame House.
Yeah, it's now a whole new world.
It's everything.
Or it's like a moon base
Like
in
you
space
reach out, you
somewhere.
try and touch something.
And now I have the hardest question there, and everyone struggles with this one, including myself, which is why I started doing interviews in the first place. How would you describe VR to someone who's never touched it? If you need like a couple of minutes to think of this one, feel free to take a couple of minutes to think about it. It's a really hard question.
Have you ever? I would say to this person, have you ever had a dream where you've been a different creature or different entity, I should say, because you don't have to be human. You can just be a thing or an entity in an imaginative world where you can pretty much create your own environment. So it's like a dream, right?
Like lucid dreaming.
No, I think the lucid dream, that's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, where you're in control and you can do whatever you want and create what you want. I would say VR is like that. Because you can, if you had a dream, for example, like you were, running around, thinking of Pavlov right now. You're running around, just shooting things, just having a great old time. Have a dream. I'm sure there are people who have dreams like that. They're just like, just sort of shooting things like, oh, this is great. I'm on a high kill streak. I'd say VR is like a dream where you can control, do what you want, and have a great time, but also have that same immersion without being asleep.
Yeah.
So most people, they have a great dream, right? And they're like, oh, they wake up, and it's in the morning, like, oh, damn it, I really wish I could stay in that dream. VR, you can just put the headset on, pick a game you want, because Steam has such a great library right now with VR games, because it's matured over the...
it's really improved over the last
year.
2 years.
Yeah, and it's become so much more accessible, and, with the introduction of the Quest 2, so it's more accessible for the general consumers, or just people who just, they just want to play, they just want VR. Be it if it's standalone or PC VR like the Valve Index or Rift S, which they don't sell anymore, but still.
Yeah, unfortunately. So it really sounds like that. It's kind of like
it's not
the vividness of a dream. Just like when you're having a dream, you really feel like you're in that environment and existing there, and you have influence.
Yeah.
So it's kind of having that vividness of a dream, but within a game world.
Exactly. It's a bit of a misconstrued explanation. So it sort of makes sense, but that's how I see it. At least if I was to explain it to somebody. And I think most people would sort of hear that response and sort of get the idea. They're like, oh, I can do whatever I want in my own world and be fully immersed. The answer would be yes. I think most people would. Some people would understand that.
Yeah.
Depending on the generation, some might get it straight away, some might still be a little bit confused, but if you explain it like that, it's like a dream that you can access any time without having to go to sleep and have your brain sort of come up with some random thing each time you go to sleep. It's most people would understand that. Yeah.
Like one of the benefits of gaming is that you can go to any world, such as a big, bright, mystical lake in space. Yeah. And it's hundreds of them, especially in VRChat, because it's got so many creators in it. And you can choose whatever creature you want to be, and a lot of those things have attachments like firearms or superpowers, the ability to fly. And so, you can really see how the dream works in reference to at least VRChat, because how varied it is. And then every game you can jump into.
And for me, try and get as many people into it as possible, because it is something experience. Even though it is good and bad, there are good and bad things with it, but everyone's got to experience something at least once. And if they don't, then what are they living for? Like with people that are being fussy eaters or whatever else, and say that something disgusting that they've never tried. Well, then how do you? Well, not really. But if you haven't eaten it, then how can you know it's disgusting just because someone else said it was? So your taste, your palate is a lot different to someone else's. So you might really love it, whereas others hate it. There's all that type of stuff as well. You don't know until you actually try it.
So does that mean you're gonna try pegging?
Everything. Nope.
But you don't know until you try it. I had to get you with that one. I had to. You opened yourself up with it. I had to do it.
Out. Getting called out.
Just breaking your own rules straight away.
For the right girl, you may. But
for the right girl, it's love of your life. You get married. It's the honeymoon night. It's I'm finally going to try anal. You're so excited, and you see this big dildo flop on the edge of the bed.
I'm done with this. I'll catch you later.
I love how the exotic dance is upset that I made an anal joke. Strap-ons. Get back here already. I'm making that the end card now.
What was that, sorry?
I'm making that the end card now. It's too funny not to.